Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Fill Your Mind. Today we're going to be talking all things menstrual hygiene, and this is because it is the Menstrual Hygiene Day. We're hosting a special podcast episode to raise awareness and promote open discussions about menstrual hygiene. This episode is aimed to debunk myths, address taboos, and provide valuable insights into menstrual hygiene practices. We'll have experts and advocates who share their knowledge and experience in creating a safe space to discuss this important topic. So let's introduce everyone we have today. Obviously me, Namara, the host of this podcast. And
hi, I'm Nectar Richard, and I'm the Girl Up Tanzania leader.
Hi, I'm Matilda Modus Mashauri, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Kamazora.
Hi, my name is Hadi Yamsumi. I'm from Girl Up Bongo.
Hello, I'm Khadija Salum from Girl Up Tanzania as a member.
Great. Okay, so let's get right into what this podcast is going to do. It's going to be an educative session where we're going to listen about menstrual hygiene management, breaking stigma around menstruation, and highlighting the importance of the access to menstrual hygiene products, as well as empowering individuals with knowledge and resources for better menstrual health. Let's start off with our first question to open up the podcast by asking each of us here what our first day of our periods were like.
Okay, so my first day of the period, it was a bit of a scary part because it's something that I never wanted for it to happen. I knew what it was all about, but I always shied away from the talk. So the first time it was happening to me, it was just a typical, actually it was a holiday, it was 27th of something. There's a Tanzanian holiday of it. So I first noticed it, and then I called my mom and I told her. But when I was calling her, I was shaking like a leaf and I was crying so much because I knew I was getting into a stage that I was not ready for. And I've never heard the good things of being in your cycle, so I never wanted to be a part of it. So that day was pretty much a sad day for me. But as I grew older, I just got used to it, and then I came to learn some beautiful things about it. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, for me it's pretty surprising. Nectar here was there. But I was in school. I was not ready either.
Yeah.
First of all, I was scared. Of course, we learned in class, the science class. But then when I saw blood popping out, the first thing I did was crying. Then Nectar was the head prefect. So we weren't even much good friends back then. But she was the only person I could go to. So I was like, Nectar, no.
1, 2, 3 is happening.
Yeah. So then she was in boarding school. I was in day. So she took me to her room. Then she held me up. I was not ready. I swear. I cried until home. I cried. Like, I remember the day.
Let's hear your story.
Okay, my first day of my period, I was at home. I came from school on that day. So I was shocked in the first place. So what happened to me, I had myself. So I already knew that's what period really was. So I called my mother, and my mama told me all about it. Then that's all. I knew all about it. I knew all about periods. So.
All right. Let's hear your story.
Okay, so my first period happened in school. And it was one of those things where, like, I knew what a period was. I have an older sister who had already gotten her period. And it was the same thing with, like, we're keeping periods so private. So I knew that she's had her period, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And, I was very excited to get mine. And when I had gotten my period, the first person that I got into was my sister. So, like, she had helped me. She had given me, like, a pad. I had no idea how to work those. And I remember going home. And this, like, when I remember this, I think of how we've, like, demonized period so much. Because I remember talking to my mom. I never said the word period. I never said the word blood. I never said the word, like, pad. It was just like, I got it, and I put this on. Like, it was like, it just makes
censored.
Me... Yeah, and it was a weird experience, but, yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear your story.
In my side, it reminds me how I stayed a week without working at home. Yeah, so it was actually like something special.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, sure. But personally, I knew what is happening, but I didn't want it to happen. Yeah. So because I was living with my sister, so it was easier for me to just tell her. Then I waited until she came back from work. Then I explained. I was a little bit sad. Then I explained. He taught me how to put pads on pant, but actually until that time she came, I was already used like 6 pants. I was just changing. Yes.
Well, my story, it happened to me after school. I think during the day I had like a really bad tummy ache and I was wondering what's going on, and I go home and then I figured out what was going on. And at the time my mom was at work, but my sister was home, and I also, just like you, knew that she got her period, but I didn't think Like, it was something we could talk about. But then at that point I had to. So I was like, hey, this and this happened. And she's like, oh my gosh, no way. And then she gave me a pad and put it on and everything. But I had so many questions after that, but then I couldn't ask them because I thought it was something you can't talk about with people. Yeah. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go into more questions about menstruation and other stuff. Why is it important to have open conversations about menstrual hygiene? As we all know our stories, we obviously didn't have these conversations, but why is it important to have these conversations, and how can we encourage these discussions in different communities?
It is important because I feel like there's so much misconception and so much stigmatization around the topic, and it's like people are so scared of talking about it, either because it involves women, or they know nothing about it, or probably because it looks scary or something. So it's definitely very easy to form misconception around a topic that is not easily talked about. And hygiene is very, very important during that time of the month. So if you're not talking about it, that means there's very little education going around. Think of the girls who do not have access to internet, or even have older sisters or moms who could talk to them. So how do they get information?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why is it not out there talked about to the point it's normalized? It's a normal thing. It's supposed to happen. So why shy around the object? Well, you can just address it as it is. So yeah.
When you mentioned that it's stigmatized or it's not talked about because it's women or something, in my head I was trying to figure out a reason why people don't talk about it, and nothing really comes to mind because it's normal, as you said. Why aren't we talking about it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's talk more about periods by asking you another question. Someone else in the panel is going to answer. What are some challenges faced by individuals in managing their menstrual hygiene, and how can these challenges be addressed?
I think one of the main things is that people aren't aware. Again, we're not talking about them enough, that so many young girls are getting their periods and they don't know the first thing about handling periods. Especially, like, I'm thinking of girls in the rural areas. Periods are demonized, periods are dirty, periods are, like, you're not supposed to go to school, you're not supposed to cook, you're not supposed to see a man, stuff like that. Like, how are you supposed to even take your first step to, like, knowing how to manage your period if you're not even allowed to experience it in the first place?
Yeah, true. So how do you think we can address this problem? Or how do you think we can make these discussions or these conversations more common in households or in communities or in schools with trusted individuals?
Can we have older sisters talking about this? Not moms or BBs.
Yeah. You're right.
No offense. But we really need to have someone who's your peer talking about it.
Yeah, true.
Because it's very easy for them to tell you the latest stuff, the in-betweens, and you feel so comfortable asking more than a BB saying, you know what, at this time of the month, you're supposed to be wearing a kanga, you're not supposed to be doing this. Yeah. It's so ancient. It's so, it is a special moment, but it's not a bad thing happening to you. So yeah, I feel like the age that talks about it matters. So if we have older sisters, or if you have peers talking about the issue, it's going to be way more fun and way more open than having different generations talking about it. So.
Yeah, but there's some other people, like, I don't know, they're like some customs and traditions somewhere. For example, that mchai chai?
Yeah.
I don't know, when you're in your period, you're not allowed to touch that. Because when you do it, it dries. I heard this. I swear upon my living God. So it's like that. There's some other people, when you're in a period, for example, for the other people, according to their spirits, for what they believe, you're not allowed to do this, to do that, you're not allowed to step there, to step there. So we can, I'm telling you, religions are there stopping people from doing things when they're on their period.
What about sweating? If you sweat, don't touch. If you sweat, doesn't sweat spread more diseases than actually period? Because who touches period? Exactly. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I think the thing you talked about how older people always tell us things.
Yeah.
No, like, disrespect to older people, but generationally, like, things change.
Yes.
And mindsets change too, but then older people don't really take that as, like, a good thing because they're kind of stuck in their lifetime and they want us to be like them. So it's an important thing that you mentioned about how younger people who are younger or older people need to talk to younger people and tell us, give us the insight. So moving outside of, like, social communities like homes and school, and neighbors and all of that, how can educational institutions and societies support and provide better menstrual hygiene facilities and products?
How can they?
How can they provide better menstrual hygiene facilities and products?
There's so many ways to do that. For example, Girl Up itself, it can do that. We can find a way to collect funds and see what to do, because trust me, there are people who until today here live away the rule, but in urban they don't have access to that. So I mean, we can find a way either by fundraising, do something like a donation or something. People still need it, and a lot of people miss that. I was in Zanzibar. You can read the report of the UNICEF. People are suffering down there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fundraising and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Group of people. Sometimes you don't even need to do fundraising. You can just wake up in the morning and decide you can buy a box of pads and go and donate it to people who needs it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just support Matilda. I think the more emphasis should be put on rural areas where girls cannot afford buy pads. So there should be campaigns about, I mean, more campaigns on how to get pads for those kids living in the rural areas. I think that should be the first thing, then the education should be next. Because we find girls in the rural areas, they're full of taboos, and most of them don't know what periods. So I think I actually support Matilda.
That's true. I think another way, I know this might be a bit far-stretched, but there should be some sort of, I like what Matilda said when she said, like, you can wake up in the morning and decide to buy a box of pads and take them to school. Yeah. So many people have that intention. So many people want to do that, but they don't know how. Because a lot of my friends, I talk to them, and then, for example, the different projects we do, and they're like, oh, I want to be able to do that. So many people have good hearts, but they don't know how. So there should be some, I don't know if it's the government or non-governmental organizations that decide to make more easily accessible places for these people to be helped. Because there's so many issues in the world, but there's not a really easy way to help them. Like, to go into those rural areas, even in urban areas, like, it's not really easy.
Yeah, I think they could also check up Girl Up Tanzania if they want to do that as well. But as well, in terms of educational institution, I think it's best if you have content out there about the menstrual hygiene part. It is as much as having a female teacher gathering a bunch of girls and talking to them about it. It should be something that is normalized in the education institution. It's not just like a one-day seminar where all of you get a one-size-fits-all education. But it should be a continuous talk, something to be known about it. How do you calculate your days? What does this mean? What does that mean? Which discharge? What is not this? It's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be a normal kind of topic to be talked about in school. So, yeah.
True. I remember in primary school we'd have these things called girl meetings where, like, random Friday they'd be like, "Okay, boys, get out of class. Boys, get out of class." And then,
Speaking of that,
boys go this way.
yeah, girls go this way, boys go this way. And then they'd be like, "Okay, sit down," and then they'd tell you that your period, you have to be clean, and that's all they'd say. Like, you have to be clean, period.
And at that point, you don't even know what a period even is.
Exactly.
You're just like, so whenever
I was like
get
10, and she's telling me like blood's gonna come out of you, and I'm like, okay. So it should be more. I like how you said one size fits all, because everyone's period experience is different. You need, you can't talk to everybody at the same time, but there should be this kind of thing where it feels like I can go to this person at school to talk to them about periods. Which I bring another concept of like counseling at schools.
Yeah.
That is a lie. That is a big lie. Like, there is no counseling at school.
I just remembered a certain incident. You remember that girl? I won't mention her name, but you remember. So she got her period. I was in grade 6. I remember I used to be very naughty and stubborn in school. Okay. So then she got her period, but I didn't know. So I went to Karim. Karim knew, but yeah, it's a boy. So then I told Karim, look at that girl, she's wet. So it was very embarrassing. Oh my God. The teacher had to call me in the office. Oh my God.
Yeah. But she got a good scolding though.
Yeah, but I didn't know what that means.
It's not your fault.
I was in grade 6 already. Can you imagine? I was in grade
fault.
6. I'm like, I told Karim, look.
Yeah.
Look, she's wet from me. It was very, very embarrassing. Whenever I remember the moment, I'm like,
why did I do that?
I'm glad the girl didn't know, actually. I'm glad the girl didn't know. Because if she knew, she would have hated you her whole life.
What you just said is so interesting because it's making me think of how early is too early to let girls know about periods, because I feel like grade 6 is a pretty appropriate age to be telling people. So if like it's kind of alarming that someone's in grade 6 and they don't actually know what a period is, to the fact that to the extent that they're embarrassing someone else, because like, so what age or what stage of like school do we think is appropriate to tell people about periods?
What about the kids are at least 9? Because puberty starts at 9.
People get their periods at 8.
So let's put 7 then.
No, my point is
grade 3 is
like,
very good.
I was thinking there should be something where we make periods understand. Okay, every kid has asked the question before, where do babies come from, and then someone would answer, we buy them, or mommy ate a baby and then came out of it. Yeah, there should be some sort of explanation to kids for that, and they'd be like, at some age in time, this is going to happen to you, but in a more child-friendly way, because as you said, I will quote this forever, nothing is one size fit all. Like, there's a kid who gets their period at 8. Yeah. There's one who gets a period at 16. Like, it's different. And at a 16-year-old, they're able to comprehend that because they've had sex ed or they've had education on puberty and growth. But, like, an 8-year-old doesn't have that. And more likely, like, her friends don't have their periods either, so they don't really feel like they can talk to their friends about it either. So,
may I add one last point on that one? I wish that the education about puberty would be the same to both genders. So when the boys, I actually pulled one of the boys when Matilda, that day when we were told to follow this female teacher for all girls, and then boys go to Mr. Luchenche. Oh, that was his name. And then I pulled one of the boys. I asked him, like, what did you guys talk about? And he was like, oh, we'll start feeling this sort of way. And when we feel this way, we can go out to play to actually distress how we feel. And I was like, okay, how I've been taught. You'll feel like this. When you feel that sort of feeling, you need to pray. you need to pray. And then you'll notice yourself liking boys. Bad manners.
I remember. Were we all raised the same? Because that's exactly how I was taught.
Oh my goodness. Like, why are you making me a villain? Like, help me embrace how I feel. And then how can I deal with it in a more healthy way? Should I also go out and play? Because I can play. I'm a kid. I can play. So what strategies are there? It's very unfair that the girls are being taught, my goodness, when you feel this way, it's a bad thing. Yeah. It's a bad sign. Run away from the community. When the boys feel the same way, they're like, oh, no, embrace it. That's good. You should go play football. You should go sleep. Like, why is it like that?
I could talk about this forever, how, like, boys and girls are raised differently. And then eventually it comes to a place where, like, boys are so free and comfortable with their bodies and themselves, and girls are not. And when you feel... when your body is changing or when something is happening to you, you can't even talk about it because it feels like it's wrong. But guys will talk about it straight to your face, whether you're a girl, whether you're a guy, and they can do that freely.
Very proud of it, actually. They'll be like, "Oh, I got this big voice," and you're gonna pinpoint, be like, "Oh my goodness, I cannot show it. My voice is changing. I'm getting bigger breasts," and then it's just so bad, actually.
Like, there's so much bad going on. Like, what are we gonna do about it? Like, there's so much. It's important to talk about it so people are aware and they can make changes from their immediate communities. All right, so when we've talked about, like, the whole emotional part of periods and all of that, what about the actual hygiene? So how can we ensure equal access to menstrual hygiene products and facilities for individuals in marginalized communities?
Okay, in my side, I can start saying, like, when it comes to facilities, pads are not enough. Yes, especially in rural areas. The girls they are facing, like, they don't have pants. Then you bring pads. How can they put the pants? Yeah. So I think for the marginalized groups, yes, we are talking about disabilities, people with disabilities. So because this marginalized group, they have special case, and when it comes to menstruation, it's another special case. So the community should come together, or maybe should think on how these two things should be addressed to marginalized people. For instance, maybe we can just take us as a normal, because we can see that there is a disability women, but they can conceive kids. Yes. So we should think on better ways on how to engage them.
What I wanted to directly associate this is with the way the government is so concerned with water distribution to rural areas and education and all of that. Menstrual hygiene products too. And I know when people talk about this, some guy is sitting listening and they're like, well, it's just women. It's just women who will get their periods. Why should we care? But at the same time, there's so many things that certain people experience only, but we put a lot of effort into that. And menstrual hygiene isn't something a girl was born and they were like, I want to have my period when I grow up, and I want to be in a situation where I cannot access these materials. Why can't we make it easier? So the way the government and the way non-governmental organizations put so much effort in distributing these social services like water, education, and healthcare, there should be the same effort in menstrual hygiene products that are tailored towards people who are disabled, people who are not disabled, people with special conditions, people who prefer certain things. Like, it should be like that, I think so. Yeah.
grow up, we can first of all, we have to like brainstorm the solutions, put our actions plans, you know. Then that's where we start to mobilize the resources, like what we want to do. So we can also do that. We don't have to wait for the government until they do the NGOs, NCOs, you know. Even us itself, we can just we put on the table, we discuss it. Like, so what do we have to do? First of all, we need to brainstorm, like what's happening, what's their needs. Yeah. So then we put the action plans. Then we start to look for the resources. Yeah, something like that.
What are these menstrual hygiene products we're talking about? Is it like the soap, water? What are we
even talking about?
We're not even talking about
What
tampons.
are we even talking about?
Really? Is it just soap, water, and pads or tampons? That's it? Those are the products? Are there more? Like we should know about?
I don't know, let's talk about that. What do you think?
No, I just know those basics.
Those are the basic parts. I think it's different for people, really, because I know. Let's look my immediate community, my school. I know people who will get their periods and they'll use a pad, and then they'll need wipes.
Oh.
I don't need wipes when I'm on my period.
Oh, that's.
And then she'll yeah.
Neither do I.
But there are people who have their preferences, or people who have much heavier flows. So then they'll need. They cannot really. Like the school washroom does not support them being able to use and all of that. So their menstrual hygiene products are different from mine. I have a set of the ones that I need. I think that's how I'm going about this question.
And I'm thinking of, there's other communities where, so if someone is living in an area where they don't have enough access to water, or they don't have like appropriate deposition services, so they would want maybe like reusable pads as opposed to disposable, or they would want, I don't know, menstrual cups as opposed to pads because those are more convenient for them. I think like what you said, it differs from person to person. It's not one size fits all, and it's just catered to the individual.
Okay. True. So things like bins for disposal, toilet paper, wipes, and sanitary pads, and then water. Okay. Water. Oh, that's cool. Water. Okay, I think I've been my environment is so catered for to the point I really don't know what they are. Exactly. But I do use them, but I just don't see them as menstrual.
Yeah, true. I think growing up in a place where like these things are not a problem to you, you have to actually research and be like, oh my gosh, people need these things.
People do need bins and tissues and stuff.
Yeah, but I use them, but I just
provided for it. You don't really see the lack of it.
Yeah.
Can we define what these reusable pads are? A little bit, because
let's talk about that. Which is a question. Which is a question actually that I think we should ask. About what environmentally friendly menstrual health. Yeah, because we know where our environment is dying, and we don't want to add on to that. So let's talk about environmentally friendly menstrual.
All right. Actually, I think about reusable pads. It's a really good concept, but my only concern is the hygiene of it.
Exactly.
Are you sure you can actually use it and clean it the proper way and have that confidence to go outside and say, "Oh, this is my pad. I'm putting it on the house."
and the audacity to reuse it,
and then reuse it again. Does it not give you fungus or something?
All right, I've done a quick Google search right here. So let's see how effective are reusable pads. Reusable sanitary pads are just as healthy and safe as disposable ones, and women need not have any concerns in this regard. In terms of cleanliness, it is a myth that there is a need to clean bacteria on the pads, as sanitary pads are not sterile, regardless of whether they are disposable or reusable. Oh, okay, so like whether they're reusable or not, they're still not
just
dirty.
As dirty.
They're just as dirty, so you can't be scared. So let's see the cons of it. Disadvantages: lengthy cleaning process.
Yeah.
Experiencing the same bulkiness is there, whatever. You need more than one reusable pad during menstruation. That's a given. It's not as durable as a menstrual cup, and it's less comfortable than a menstrual cup. All right.
And I was also thinking there's some other people with high volume flow.
Yeah.
For example, I have a minimum flow. Like, for example, me, I just take my period for 3 days. I'm done. And the flow is just normal. It has never leaked. But the other people, they have to change until 4 to 5 pads a day. Like, the reusable ones, it's gonna flow outside of the pool.
Yeah. I've got your question that you're talking about hygiene. They said, what are the side effects of reusable pads? If not cleaned properly, which is a big problem because, again, we're trying to cater to people who have issues with hygiene. So this is not for them exactly, but it's good for the environment. And if you are able to clean it properly, it's a better alternative. So it says...
You gotta iron those.
I don't know.
I think
Why would they be
really? Bacteria, I think so. Because I know someone who irons their reusable pads.
Okay.
And when you were talking about how clean reusable pads are, I'm thinking, because I live in a communal like dorm in my university, and there's multiple people that use reusable pads that hang them outside. So my thing is like, how do you know that this is yours? Like,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wait.
OMG.
You just said that many people use it. In my head, this was like one of those things that are, I don't know, I'm about to say collectibles. Like, they're not everywhere.
they're
Like,
pretty economic. Like, it's a smart economic
The first
decision.
time I ever saw the reusable pads was like, it was like this, like the Menstrual International Menstrual Day. So then it was like they did it at Nazimoja. So like people came and other people brought their menstrual cups. That's what I just saw it over there. I've never seen anyone using those.
I've never seen anything other than a normal disposable pad. 100% serious. And I'd watch shows and people would be like these YouTube videos would be like, oh my gosh, my tampon, whatever. I'm like, what does a tampon look like? I've never legit. And like, I don't know if I sound so dumb for saying this, but I know out there are people like me in our country who have never seen anything apart from a disposable pad. And unfortunately, some people, even just a tissue, they've never seen a pad. So
I have something to add up. I'll just go back to the other question, adding up with this one. I think reusable pads should be given to those students who live in rural areas, those girls. Most of them, they use kanga. They don't use this disposable pads. So I think there'll be a solution for them, since also economically. About hygiene, I think it will be easier for them, more than much, but at least more than
on the economic side.
Yes, on the economic side.
True.
So I think that's the best solution for that.
True. I think so.
I've been also thinking about the weather.
I think coming.
Some other places, like it's rainy most of the time. Like I said
Yeah.
in there. I think that thing needs sun. Guys, I'm there. That thing needs sun.
The reusable pad needs some.
Hey, we are trying to debunk these things. We are saying it. It is a reusable pad.
That thing needs sun.
No, I studied in there, and my other fellow students were still using those reusable pads. I think it's very much good. Though the weather is not culturally very friendly in there, but people still use them.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what I'm
That's your
talking
question.
about.
Yeah.
Those things do really need sun.
They need sun. That's the thing.
Hey,
coming.
Burn all those germs.
The reusable pads need sun.
Exactly. That's period stigma right there. Like, call it what it is.
Reusable pads. Reusable pads need sun.
So one of the things that scares me is that coming from a community where you hang your panty inside the house, how comfortable, where do you get the confidence to actually take that pad that you just washed? Probably you didn't wash that well. Now you're going to put it outside. Where do you get it? So my fear is that they're going to be putting it inside to actually dry
And then
off.
it's going to get
And
unhealthy.
then you're going to be using it again. And then it's going to be leading to fungus and yeast. You don't want
itchy
that.
and yeast.
You
Oh
don't
my
want
god.
that.
Girls get yeast most of the time after period.
Yes.
Because now after
You're prone to
period.
infections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, really important question about like
I'm still thinking about what Jackie said. This the reusable pads needs to be washed like thoroughly.
Yes.
And then to be dry in the sun. And then also they have to be ironed.
And then use it again. You
I
don't
think
have to iron
I
that.
actually think
As long
even
as it's important.
urban area is more friendly for the reusable pads
Exactly.
than
I
the
think
rural
it's
area.
more friendly in terms of hygiene, but I don't want to. I
The
think
energy too.
what I'm gonna say might sound intensively either far-fetched or difficult to understand, but I think in rural areas they are already going through a hygiene problem. So one of the there were two problems at the time. Okay, but let's say reusable pads were not invented. We have the problem of hygiene, and then we have the problem of no pads at all. We could fix one of the problems by bringing in the pads. Like I think it's a healthier option towards like the fact that they use kangas and they use tissues, and it's a much more healthier option to use a reusable pad. So we tackle one problem at a time. We've tackled the lack of pads. Let's work on the hygiene after. Okay, we're going one step at a time.
I have a question there. It depends. I'm repeating again. It depends on the area. They need to be washed. The reusable pads. So like the other people who don't have access to clean water.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So it's better to give them the disposable ones.
It's
Because-
way better.
All right.
Wait,
Okay. Again. I
you don't
think
have to wash that. I'm telling you guys, you don't have to wash that. It's even way better. You just have to clean yourself. There's some other places where they don't have water that they even go to school without taking a shower.
You have to walk 1,000 kilometers to actually, so not 1,000, but a few couple kilometers to actually go get water, come back and wash.
Oh, yeah, true.
I think using those pads require enough water in the area.
That's true.
Yeah, water is a problem. I know what you want to say, and let me say. I know what Matilda wants to say. I want to say, we're going to say this over and over again, that one size does not fit all.
Yeah.
We are going to have a solution that will not fit A, B, and C, but it will help A.
Yeah.
So, we're thinking, we're brainstorming, there's always going to be room for improvement, so...
Yeah. Other thing, for me, take it from me, Nectar, the disposable ones, they're even way cheaper. Because...
For how long?
No, they're not cheaper. They're not cheap, but it's easy to... it's easy to distribute.
Easy in the moment.
To distribute them.
And in the moment.
And for reusable pads, that's a one-time purchase that it's literally reusable. You can use it multiple times. But you buy a new pack of disposable pads every month.
Yeah, that's... I think... The reusable pads also, that is like a piece of cloth. There's a time it gets tired. And we're not even... First of all, it's not even confirmed. It's not even confirmed for how long you're supposed to use that.
Yeah, okay, but it's much longer than a monthly purchase. No, not even monthly. Daily. Yeah. Hourly for some. It's...
I just think it's...
It's okay.
I think... I don't know. It's like
we get you. We get you.
I mean... We have to. I mean, the people who are gonna use that, they have to wash it like clear. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, the hygiene has to be like.
I think for providing a solution for you, Matilda, I think it should be, if you're promoting reusable pad, equally promote hygiene as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
all right,
that.
we got that. We got that on.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, that was interesting. That was fun.
Matilda
was on. She was on.
I'm trying to think.
Okay. We're going to move on to the opposite gender.
Okay.
How can we involve them, the men and the boys, in conversations about menstrual hygiene and make them allies in promoting menstrual health? Let's not do what Matilda did and point at another girl who's on her period. So how can we properly engage these people?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, okay, sure. How can we involve men and boys in conversations about menstrual hygiene and make them allies in promoting menstrual health?
You go first.
Okay. Matilda.
Yeah, I mean, we can, for example, I mean, people our age, they have boyfriends, girlfriends. They have to be that. For example, I get crumbs during my periods, most of the periods. Yeah. Like, I really need help. I can't do nothing apart from being on bed.
Say they bring you chocolates. Please don't say
I mean, not chocolate. I mean, they have to be there, at least when you go for a shower. He has to be like, there, babe, I brought you some pads, at this period of month, you have to be clean. I mean, they have something like that. Just gentle, helping. Yeah?
Okay.
Let me say something. 1 minute, so I cannot introduce you. Yeah. They don't have to. Okay? They don't have to. They do not have to.
They can do them in the 7 minutes.
It would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah.
It would be nice, but it is not needed. It is not needed.
For me, all my younger siblings are boys. Yeah. So it's the same. Like some other people, they're like, all the older ones are boys. They're like brothers. Mm-hmm. So when a girl get into that situation, the puberty situation, she needs help. I don't have Sarah. I have Saeed and Albani. See the difference, Nectar? Nectar has Sarah. Yeah. That's the sister.
Oh, my sister's
I have
called
Saeed and Albani, and I just have John.
Her name is Betha.
Yeah. Sarah was like her best friend in school. Sarah Muya. Yeah. She has Betha. So when we involve them in this, so like maybe a brother like 25, the sister's like 9, 10, she just got her period. He can help. Yeah. He can help. Like, so you have to be this. You have, this is how it's supposed to do. This is how you put the pad on the pond. You're supposed to take a shower. Supposed to do this, to do that. Supposed to play. Something like that.
I think apart from the practical, like, help and everything, I'm going to quote something I've heard several guys say. Cramps don't hurt that bad.
Oh.
Shut up. God. Shut up. Stop it, okay? That is Shut up, because you don't know. Okay, I'm not going to say that, like, I have debilitating, painful cramps that I cannot do anything. Like, I get fine sometimes, but there's some people who have it really bad. Yeah. Endometriosis, like, so many different things. it starts mentally. I'm pointing at my head right now. It starts mentally. Guys need to stop belittling the struggles of women. Like, that needs to stop. That is the least thing you can do as a human being, not even as a guy, as a human being, to belittle the pain of other people. I think that needs to stop. And that is, like, a key way that men and boys can be integrated into, you know, the menstrual hygiene cycle.
That's because they don't know enough about periods. You know how, like, it's the same thing. Women are being taught about, like, women issues, and boys, you know, it's the same thing. Boys go this way, girls go this way. If people, like, so the world exists in so many dichotomies. There's people living in the rural areas that know about people that live in urban areas. There's people that are able, that learn about disabled. So why don't we have men learn about women? Like, it's not that hard, and it's going to change so many things. It's going to get rid of that stigma and those stereotypes of, like, periods and women and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
And I know that we're talking about women today too, but then also there are certain things that men go through that we don't know as well. And I think there's so much gender division. There's a huge brick wall between the two genders that makes it so easy for the two to be offensive towards each other, because we understand that men go through their pains and shit. They're gonna compare their pains to ours. Why are we comparing? You know, like, we are all different. Let us handle our pains differently, but be human beings who support each other through our pains. Like, that is, like, the basis of what men and boys can do.
Yeah, I think.
Can I ask something? Do men have, like,
Their versions of periods?
Sperm crumbs?
You think if they did, they would say that cramps don't hurt that bad? They wouldn't dare.
I saw a meme. I saw a meme saying, like, girls just complain about, they're the only ones who are period. We also get this. Crumbs. Like, they can't do nothing.
Nah, it's not true. I don't know. Maybe there's something that they talk about that we don't know of. Maybe, but
I think one of the things I would love to highlight is the fact that, you know, when you're in your period and you're around a bunch of guys, and then you're like, oh, guys, I'm on my period. They'd be like, oh my God, are you okay? It feels so nice to be in that moment. But then again, later on, when you're in a corporate area, in example, a time of work, and when you're, like, facing a ton of pain, and they really don't understand, they, like, still push you as hard as you can to just keep on working or keep on doing some tons of hard stuff. It is really, how can I say, it's very confusing, it's very offensive. It's because you are in pain, and they just don't understand how much pain you're in. And I wish they would go the extra mile of, buying chocolates and, you know, doing all that. It is cute, it is very good, but as well, can they go an extra mile to actually know what this is about? I've come to find out men who know about periods have either wives, most of them have wives or girlfriends. Those are the ones that know. But these guys that are in school, they don't. Even the ones that build the toilets, you find they've not talked to women. There's a lot of toilets in the rural area, in the rural schools, where there's just a brick, and then there's, like, a hole in the middle. That is where you pee and everything. So imagine when you're in your period, then you have to stand on those two bricks.
Oh my God.
How do you change a pad? That means you do not consult a lady when you're making that toilet. I really wish, like, such facilities could be consulted. Like, how would you change your pad here? How would you have a good time to, you know, like, change your pad? A good time. Sorry, not good time, but a comfortable time. Yes, because you're in such a, like, you're holding your skirt up. You're, like, doing this. Yeah. It's just so uncomfortable. So how, like, I wish the men who are actually in these positions to make these things happen would consult women on how would these make you uncomfortable. I mean, how would this make you comfortable when you're in such a process? So yeah, I feel like men should actually know about this. Yesterday I posted about this. About the whole thing about the menstrual hygiene day and stuff, and I think one of the guys was like, it doesn't really concern me, so whatever. I was like, no, it does concern you, because it's a health issue. It's not about, it's biological issue. It's not just girl issue, so that does not involve you. It does involve you. And as well, men, if they would like to talk about their health issues, we should also be open to listen, because it's a 50-50 to both of us. So,
which is, again, like, we need to all be human beings.
But then
we need to all be human.
Then I remembered something, you know, like, a girl, I had a friend, she was on a period. I mean, it was, I think, in my first year. So then she was at home, but she complains to her mom, like, Mommy, you know, I'm having tummy ache, crumbs. But then the mommy, like, you're just pretending over there. You're going to take care of those dishes, you know? And then if you have brothers in the house, they also go with that perception, like, she's just pretending. She doesn't want to do the dishes or something. We should also change that. That's the starts at home.
So it means it have to start from the family.
It has to start from home.
Yeah, it starts from home.
Okay,
Charity begins at
so
home.
this
Yeah.
is social media. The second country in the Western countries,
Gambia.
yeah, I
They
know-
made days.
yeah,
for the-
the day off for a woman who goes through periods.
Can I
Yeah.
talk about that too?
Of course.
That's a very good campaign, but I'm very concerned about it because now you'll be creating a whole other problem. So how would you know someone's on their period?
Let's say
Everybody has their own. It's not like a special day. Like this day,
All the women are on their period.
Everybody has their own thing. So how would you put that? And does that mean now you no longer get? Is it like 21 days in a year where you get like a time off from work in total? Now, does that mean you get almost like what, half of the year off? Because every month, like in 3 days, some even go a week.
Even 7
Where they
days,
have,
yeah.
So coming into the HR terms, like human resources and in the corporate work, you're gonna make women be unemployable.
But none of
Because-
the country is successful in that issue. Women are day off when you're in period, you don't go to work.
How do you know? How do you know I'm on my
I
period,
don't know how,
Jackie?
I don't know how they know it.
You gonna check me?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
How would you know?
I
And
don't
then
know.
and then now, me as a CEO, I want people to be working 8 hours a day this time of like for these few days long. And then you come in, like I have 2 women on board, and these 2 women keep taking breaks every now and then. Today they have flu, tomorrow it's the menstrual, and the other day it's a whole thing. You're gonna make
pregnant
women
or
not become
something.
unemployable. It's a really good solution, but then again, we should look forward to what does that mean in terms of employability? We already have few women in the workforce. Putting that in, I feel like it's going to make more women drop out of the workforce because I wouldn't want to employ someone who keeps taking breaks. That means my work is not going to be done. So, yeah, I'll be paying for you to leave.
I don't really, like, that is big problem, but I don't have an answer to. Or, like, anybody doesn't have an answer to. Like, what are we going to do to make it more accessible for women with their periods? We could leave this for discussion. Question of the day. What do you guys think we should do in workforces or places of work about women who have serious pain during their periods? Yeah. Let's go on to our final question. That is, I'm not happy about that. I want to keep talking. How can individuals contribute to destigmatizing menstruation and promoting menstrual hygiene within their own community? So we've talked family, we've talked school, we've talked organization, we've talked boys and men. Now, a regular individual. What can they do to destigmatize menstruation and promote menstrual hygiene? Number 1, talk about it. Talk about it. We are talking about it. Tell someone you're listening to a podcast about menstrual hygiene. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Send them the link, not even tell them.
Yeah, send the link. Say shameless promo. Send the link to this podcast. And, listen, talk, learn, grow. And, that is like the basic thing you can do as an individual. The more you're informed, which is the aim of this podcast, to fill your mind with something and then you do something about it, because a lot of people don't know stuff. Like, I didn't know when I got my period, the first thing I was thinking about is that, some girl in a rural area doesn't have menstrual hygiene. I had to read about that. I had to see. So open your eyes, open your mind, read, talk to people, and,
I feel like infrastructure should be part of it as well. The toilets, the facilities that are there. But as well, stop using words that are so, how can I say, not diminutive, like mkate. Nenda kununua mkate. Oh my God. Stop saying mkate. It's pad. Nenda kununua pedi. That's it.
People
It's
should
not
be
a
confident
bad
enough,
word.
yeah? People should be confident. Like, I want
Mkate
that.
wangu. Why mkate? It's,
That does make sense. That does make sense.
yeah, true. I remember, and it makes sense to you too. You referred to reusable pads as things.
yeah.
So you need to take this advice.
I forgot.
You know what? I think
The name ran out of my head.
it's not your fault. It's the system's fault. We've always been taught that this part of our lives is super secret. It's super, private. It's for our own to experience. And I think one of the things is just, if you're going to get a pad, go say that you're getting a pad. If you're on your period, say you're on your period.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine to say it.
Yeah, I remember my sisters when I was younger. So when I'm sent to go buy the pad, I had already gotten my puberty already too. So when I go there, if I find males at the shop, I wait until they.
Oh my God! You know what? It's so embarrassing because last time I got a pad, I did the same thing. There were males at the store. I had to wait. And the guys leave. And then I go. And it's so crazy because even when I went to the store and the lady the person was saying was a lady, and then she went, "Do you have a bag with you?" Because
Oh my gosh.
this pad, you gotta have something to put in it.
Nobody gotta see this. Nobody wants to see that. Like, I know for me, a family member of mine sent a man to go buy a pad. And I was young, but this shows how messed up I was, not her.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, he's gonna come back and he's gonna see that you are on your period, you know? Like, it's...
What's wrong? Yeah.
What's wrong, you know? And I love when adults are, like, open to talk about it, because we need to be talking about it. Like, and I think what people are scared of is talking about it and saying the wrong things, or... Like, okay, there's two sides to this. There's, like, the fact that it's a taboo and nobody wants to talk about it, but then there's also, let's say, a girl who's grown up in a home where it's just her and her dad. I know her dad wants to talk to her about it, but he doesn't know what to say. So there's that, too.
Yeah. Actually, dads are very shy. Dads are like the most shy guys I've ever met to talk to their daughters about it. They do not. They just be like, oh, what do you need? Anybody? Say no more. Say no more. I got it.
You need to watch a YouTube video about this?
Exactly. They don't talk about it, or they shy away from it. I feel like they see like it's a mom's issue. If it's mom not around, then maybe it's the dad's issue to talk about with the girl. But really, it should be just okay.
It should be a people issue.
Say it. Just talk about it. Nobody's gonna die. Yeah. Exactly.
True.
Oh my god.
So that's all we have for today, unless anybody has something else to say. No, we're
okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Girl, coming with our thing.
Yeah, we're coming up with something.
Yes.
Oh,
definitely. If you'd like to register for Girl Up as well, you could actually visit the social media pages at Girl Up Bongo, Girl Up UDSM, Girl Up Tanzania, and then you can send us your info to actually join the Girl Up movement, and have your own movement-ish at school. Probably you could drive pads.
Pad donation.
Yes, pad donation. Hygiene products. Now that I know wipes are also hygiene products, you could also have that. So yeah, creative forces are bigger than one force. So yeah.
True. I love that. So again, we're going to link down places that you can join if you're watching this on YouTube below in the description, and if you are listening, as she said, go to the social media pages. So we are concluding our podcast. We hope that this fostered a great understanding of the menstrual hygiene and inspire positive change. We addressed these challenges, debunked myths, and we're opening a dialogue because we started having one on our own here, so you can have one with your friends at school. Think of something to do, think of something that you can do to make a difference, and create a more inclusive and supportive environment for all people to manage their menstrual health effectively and, make the world a better place at the end of the day. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And make sure you send this to a friend or someone you think would like to listen.
Or a man.
A guy. Yeah, send this to your guy friend. Send this to your guy friend. Yeah.